let's talk One Piece. Okay, so this episode was basically about Zoro and his past. There's not much to it. But it is a very good informational episode, even if it is a bit fillery, kind of, sort of. We do learn a bit more about Zoro's past, but it doesn't really serve anything to the overall plot. Although we do learn more about Zoro's character through this episode. So it's mainly serves as a flashback. It's essentially Zoro reminiscing about the old days, kind of, sort of, I think. It's a flashback going through his mind, while Usopp and Luffy are talking about practicing their cannon firing and all that. But the story is essentially about how Zoro one day shows up to battle the dojo master of a nearby town to become the new dojo master, and if he loses, he becomes a student there. And the dojo master, upon realizing this and realizing just how motivated Zoro is, sicks his daughter on him, Kuina, who Zoro forms a close bond with. And at first, Zoro uses a comically large amount of kendo swords before finally sticking with only 2, and gets his ass handed to him as it should be evident, because Kuina is amazing and Zoro is still just an amateur. Vowing to become stronger than Kuina and beat her, Zoro begins to perform a lot of training and loses a full 2,000 times to her in the process of his training, despite how strong he's gotten. But she has also gotten even stronger because, as we find out later, she's a woman, and as a woman, I'm not entirely sure how much of this is true, but as a woman, Kuina can only get so strong, and then as she grows older, she loses a lot of her muscle mass and becomes a lot leaner and doesn't become as strong. Which she reveals after winning her 2001 fight against Zoro to him, and they use real swords during this fight. So after hearing Kuina bellyache about how she's a woman, she can never beat a man and never be on par with a man, Zoro is like, no, shut up, you can be as strong as you want to be, and let's make a vow to become one of the world's strongest swordsmen. And the day after her promise, Kuina unceremoniously falls down a flight of stairs and dies while going to get a sharpening block for her sword, which results in Zoro becoming completely distressed and training even harder than he would before, because he believes that Kuina kind of walked out on their promise, even though she didn't. She kind of died. And tries to cement their legacy by asking her father for the sword that she used, and he accepts. And we do learn that yes, this sword is in fact the one that Zoro uses to this day. To this day, present in the anime, his sword arsenal has changed a lot over the 20-ish seasons that One Piece has had, but he's always had this one sword along with him for the entire journey. So we know for a fact that the sword means a lot to him, because it is, in its essence, her. It was her sword, so it does reside her spirit and her dreams. And with this, Zoro spends the next 8 years training to become stronger, and is eventually able to chop a boulder into pieces with a single blow, and does eventually master his 3-sword style, which we see. And then one of Zoro's old teammates, Johnny, shows up and attacks the boat for no real reason. We don't know why. We never really learn that. And Luffy and Johnny go to blows for a little bit until Zoro intervenes, realizing that it's Johnny. So, yeah. There's not much else to say about this. It was a simple episode, but it did have a lot of narrative to it. It explains why Zoro trained so hard to become the world's strongest swordsman. Because he wants to fulfill a promise to Kuina that she wasn't able to fulfill while she was alive. So Zoro is honoring her memory by becoming the world's strongest swordsman. which is a dream they shared together. So, yeah, definitely a good episode. There's wasn't much to it, but it was a very good episode nonetheless. So, if you guys have seen this episode of One Piece, what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you liked it, hit that like and the subscribe button. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!